How's it going, YouTube? I'm your host, Steamtown Gamer, and this is Home on the PS4. Now, I just downloaded this like 2 minutes ago. It's a relatively small game. It cost like $3, and I thought, fuck it, why not? As it's getting close to Halloween too, it's really going to make things more interesting. This game will be automatically saved at certain points. However, we recommend that you put aside an hour and a half to complete Home in a single sitting. So I have no idea what this game is about. I've never played it. I've never really seen any trailers. Now that I think back to it, I think some of the main YouTubers have played this at some point, but I never sat down and actually watched their gameplay because I never heard of the game. So yeah, it's all new to me. I just went on the online store because I was just bored, and there it was. You know, $3. Home, an indie horror game. Turn up the sound, turn off the lights. All I remembered that at that point was finding myself alone. Oh, my head. Where was I? It was so dark. So you could tell just from the trailer alone, it's all pixelated. There was something by my feet. A flashlight? Okay, yeah, pretty simple. What's this thing? Oh, just a door, okay. That house, where was I? There was a body lying on the floor. Who was it? Fuck! They just threw that straight into you. Oh, the controller shook. That actually scared me a little bit more than I thought it would. I don't know what that thing there is. Maybe a lamp? Picture frame? You'll probably go up that door. I just want to take a look at the passageway. Hey, it's dripping. We'll take a look through this door. It's probably locked. No, it's not. Okay, we're going through. Books. Computer. The desk had a computer and some papers on it and a single drawer. I didn't want to snoop, but do I open the drawer? Oh, so this is kind of cool. Yes. Receipts, pens, and a blurry photo. Looked like a store of some kind. Why did this look so familiar? The fuck is this? Blood on the wall. It smelled fresh and sticking. I realized there was blood on my shoes and pants. Oh man, I had to get out of there. So this game, I mean, it doesn't seem that scary, but my heart rate is just like exponentially going up. I'm just afraid I'm just going to look around there and I'm going to see some kind of fucking monster and it's going to chase me. I am, like, my hair's standing on end now. I noticed that I limped as I moved down the stairs. How did I hurt my leg, I wondered. All I could really recall was coming home seeing Rachel. I was upset. She looked afraid. I shook my head and tried to clear it. I knew I should head downstairs to try to find a way out. Yeah, because that's a reasonable thing to do. So, as far as I can tell, he doesn't know where he is, but he does seem to have memory of his previous life. So he doesn't have amnesia. He knows who he is. He knows where he's from. He was living with Rachel, either his wife or his girlfriend, probably girlfriend, and he just woke up in here. Okay, the shelf is full of books and located history and hunting. Seems like the owner of the house really knew the area. Oh, I didn't really mean this. Fuck. An old dining table covered in dirty dishes for 2 people. There were dozens of beer cans and other liquid bottles among the dishes. The smell was turning my stomach. So they were drinking a lot. A black and white photo looked like the man upstairs and his wife. I guessed. There's no reason for me to keep this. Do I take it? Yeah, let's take it. Slip it into my pocket. Maybe this would help me find some more answers. So the game's got a lot of multiple choice questions. Some kind of water tower. Did he mean one by the old train yard? So he found notes about the old water tower. So he knows that he's in possibly the same yard. What the hell is this thing? A thin grey mouse was stuck in a trap. It looked frantic but exhausted. Did I free it? Yes, I did. I'll do the right thing. I wouldn't be surprised if that mouse gives me something later, or at some point in the game we'll have to use a dead mouse for something. Mirror, I looked like hell. My clothes were dirty and torn, and there was mud caked all over my shoes. I'm just going to go back through this door, because I never actually saw what was behind this door. Gardening supplies, a collection of rusty tools. These looked like they'd seen a lot of use and wear, caked in damp smelling dirt. Why weren't they in a shed? That is a good reason. Why were the tools put inside? Oh, did you hear that? Definitely rustling. A photo similar to the old one I picked up. It had been moved a lot. There seems to be a switch behind it. Do I push the switch? In desperation, smoothly into the wall, I heard a faraway click somewhere. So we could go back the way we came to look for some sort of... I'm moving slowly because I'm terrified, if I'm honest. Yeah, this game is starting to creep me out. It wasn't at first, but now it's slowly starting to freak me out a bit. Keep going, let's go. And so the only real place we haven't checked yet is downstairs. Now we could go back upstairs to see if there's anything different, but we're just going to go straight downstairs. Now I'm going to go right. Oh, fuck. Oh, that scared the crap out of me. Oh. Okay, the door was taped up and seemed to be stuck. By the smell, I guessed it led to the kitchen. It's just taped up. I'm guessing he needs a knife of some kind. The switch in the wall appeared to have unlocked the door. So this is the door that was locked. Okay. The cage. The box looked heavy, but there was marks on the floor that obviously had been moved before. Maybe I found a way out. I had found a way out. Okay, that's just stupid. I must have moved it, right? Yes. I heaved the box forward and it finally gave. Oh. Oh, won't go down there just yet. I'll still keep looking around. Oh, okay. There's probably another mouse there. There's a sheets of paper all over the picture. It looked like the series of names were written down, but they were too smudged to read. I could make out a few of the notes. Key card. I'm guessing that's a locker. Last one, I promise, didn't make much sense this time. The smell of old dishes and moldy floor was disgusting. Trophy, cause and effect. Okay, nothing really here. So let's continue on, shall we? Now I'm going to go the other way. I'm not going to go downstairs just yet. What's in this room? The bathroom was spotless. Everything had been wiped to a sheen. I wondered if it was the man's wife who did it, the cleaning, or him. So the one good part of this house is a very nice bathroom. We're going to find a dead body in the bathroom. There was a photo development laying on the floor. Some leftover negatives were sticking out, but they were pretty blurry. I thought I saw what looked like treetops. It seemed that the tray had been left there, considering how clean the rest of the bathroom was. Was someone like looking at the negatives in the bathroom? The front door was blocked by a pile of furniture. I knew it had to find another way out. That's the thing about these games. Just, go out the window. Smash the window. Pick up one of the bits of furniture and throw it out the window and get out. But I'm just picking the game apart. This is pretty good. I mean, I'm really liking this game. There was a ladder going underground where the box was. A dark smell rose from the passage. Did I climb down the ladder? Yes. I looked again at the photo I found in the house. The couple looked distant, like they didn't want to be in the same picture. I wondered where the wife was. My leg was in terrible shape, but I had to get out. The boxes would have allowed me to climb up the ladder, but I didn't want to go back up there, not with that body, all the blood. Okay, so he doesn't want to just go back until we've had a look around. What's this? Footprints in the dirt. Looks like more than one kind. A lot of traffic. Is that a map? Places were all over marked on this old map of the town, the industrial area near the river, various houses, even that water tower near the old rail station. Okay, so he himself is familiar with the land, but not with the house, because he knew about the one near the train station. So he is from the same town. He just woke up here. Newspaper clippings from the local paper. They were all about murders in the town over the last few years. Wait, there were photos all over the house. What the hell was that about? Maybe I should have looked around more, tried to find some more information. Oh, I think I fucked it up. I think I was supposed to look around even more to find more photos. So my guessing so far is that this guy was kidnapped by this murderer who lives in this house and was injured in the process, but probably got knocked out. Maybe he got clipped on the head, but still managed to fight his way out of the situation, but just still managed to pass out, being locked in the house. A work table covered in papers, dirt, and handgun. And a handgun. I hated guns. Did I take it? I did, yes. I tucked the small handgun into my pocket. Its weight was somehow reassuring. We're going to go even further down? Fuck, how far does this thing go? It was so dark there, and the smell and the air smelled stale and putrid. I'm sorry, I'm not good at reading things out loud. I can read just fine, but when I have to read things out loud like this, I struggle a bit. I couldn't believe what I saw. What was this place? Door, desk. The desk was locked, old, and caked with grime. On it was a stack of old, faded paper covered with what looked like names. They were scratched out in legible notes were written beside them in faded blue ink. I could only make out a few letters. I guess that's Haley. None of it made any sense to me. Okay. We can go back up and we can go even further down. You gotta be fucking kidding me. Crudely made shelves. They didn't look like they were holding any cans of some kind or corrosives. The labels were worn and slick, but I could still see the warnings. looked like a cage. It was small, but there was something coating in the bottom. Something wet. This place is getting worse all the time. I knew I had to keep moving. Looks like some kind of homemade rack slung together with poorly cut wood and rope. It was caked with old blood. Somebody didn't actually use that, did they? The shelving covered in blood. We're gonna go through this door before we go down again. Oh shit. Those look like chains of some sort. They looked to be bones half dug into the ground, and the remains looked old. The faded clothes that stuck up against the dirt looked familiar. They looked like the clothes that woman was wearing in the photo I found. Was this the man's wife? Oh crap, he killed his wife. I wonder what would I have found if I had dug deeper? So it's not just to get out of the house, it's to really find what the fuck is going on, and I fucked up. So I really have to at least double click on things to get multiple answers. Looks like some of the old boxes, they look like they were years old. Wait a minute, these boxes had old clothes in them. Clothes I remembered throwing out after Rachel and I moved into town. What the hell are they doing here? If I was scared before, I was terrified now. Why were there photos of our house there and these clothes? Was that why I was there? I checked my back pocket and realized my wallet was missing. Did I come to that house or did someone bring me here? Yeah, I know, I'm hitting it again because I have to make sure. There wasn't anyone there. Was I hearing things? I'm going to go back and check. I don't want to go back up. That's probably what he's hearing, rats. Yep, no, not rats, bats. I remember noticing the broken ladder. I had to be careful. My guess is he's going to go down that ladder, but he can't get back up. The fuck is this thing? There was rope hanging there. I wasn't sure how sturdy it was. Did I take it? Yeah, I did. Oh shit, another skeleton. It looks like a skeleton, but I can't interact with it at all. Is it like behind the wall, or is that not a skeleton at all? The rope I found would have let me climb down the broken ladder safely. Did I climb down? Yes, I did. I could hear a faint hum, and the smell from before started to get worse. So yeah, can I go back? The ladder was too high to reach. I must have tried to find a way out from where I was. So he's basically going ridiculously far down, and has no way of getting back up, and you're just assuming that he has to look around. Hell no. Then again, I'm picking the game apart. I do apologise. Oh, that looks like a bloody wall. A bunch of old newspapers. Wheat pasted together. A message had been hastily smeared on it. Keep out, danger due to cave-in. It's possible that this house was built on top of an old mine shaft. That's just a door. It's a little different from the other doors though. I could feel a faint impression of the rope I had slid down as I pressed against the heavy metal door. So he's still got like the feeling of the rope on his hands. It was probably for the best that I hadn't jumped. The arch in my leg was bad enough as it was. If I could have though, I would have run straight out of the awful tunnels. Who would keep such a place? Awful tunnels. Is that the tunnels that we're in now? At least though I had found an old handgun, it seemed to work, and from that smell of it, it had been already used already. Okay, so I'm starting to think that this is like sort of a kind of like a checkpoint thing, as well as it's summoning up what I've done so far. I kept the gun in my pocket. It seemed a familiar weight there. So this is behind this special door. Definitely looks more industrial. An exposed ventilation shaft. Maybe someone crawled through there, but it was so high up that must have been a sore landing. This looks like another body. There was dirt on the ground. It looked wet, and there was grass meshed within it. Odd, there was similar dirt on my shoes. Is it possible that he came through there and went up? Looks like we can go through that door. We can also go up. This is a first. What's this? Disgusting. It was a mess of filthy garbage bags, and there was rips and tears in most of the bags. What looked like an old videotape was sticking out. Did I take the tape? I sure did. I wasn't sure what I had hoped to discover with the tape, but I took it anyway. So now we can just find an old VHS player and we'll be set. That's what I need to do. I need to like look up. I could hear a faint ticking sound, like water. What was that? Probably water dripping from a pipe. Exit. A kitchen knife covered in drying blood. Thinking about it made me sick. I didn't even want to touch it. Did I take the knife? Yes, I did. I slid the knife into my boot since I had the gun in my pocket. Did I really need all of this? It's kind of overkill. He's got the bloody knife in his boot and he's got the handgun, and you'd think one or the other. Oh, that scared the crap out of me. Oh, my heart's really beating here. There was a rusty ladder sunk into the water, which smelled disgusting. I knew I couldn't climb down that. Maybe I had to find a way to drain the putrid water. Okay, so the way out is down that ladder. It kind of reminds me a little bit of Resident Evil 3, Project Nemesis, where she reaches that processing facility by Umbrella, and then she discovers that she has to like drain the water in order to use the ladder and get to the next part of the game. The door was locked. There was a musty smell on the inside. You can get in. What's that? I wasn't sure, but I thought it was some kind of regulator. I had no idea how it worked. My guess is we're going to turn this, it's going to drain the water. I thought if I turned this water valve, it would shut off its flow. Did I turn it? Yes, I did. Let's try this one again. Okay. I thought if I turned this water valve, it would shut off its flow. Did I turn it? Thought if I turn this valve, it would shut off its water. Did I turn it? Oh crap, I was supposed to do it like multiple times. Okay, yeah, so some require different levels of turning. That means we've got to redo these ones. I thought if I turn the... Did I turn it? Okay, that one locked. Let's try number 1 now. Okay, that one was actually locked. The door was locked from the musty spell on the inside. Let's go back to exit and let's see if we can get out. Now this game said to wait like an hour and a half, but it's only been like 15 minutes. So I'm a little concerned that the game is significantly bigger than what's actually here. It's called Home, so who really knows? Looked like the water drained out that grate in the wall. Okay, There was a small metal key left floating in the shallow pool of rancid water. Did I take it? Yes, I did. I pocketed the small key. It was so odd shaped and I had no idea what it might open. Could it open that door? There was one door locked. Let's try and use this other key. At least there's no long waiting time. I am pretty happy there's no real pain in the ass, wait for the doors to open sort of thing. Oh crap, open the wrong door. Okay, so that didn't work at all. I am sorry! Let's just continue on. So this game is still pretty good for $3. I mean, if the game ends very soon, I'm not probably going to be replaying it anytime because it's quite boring. I might come back to this at some point in the future to really have a good look about this game. It's a safety poster that had been definitely seen better days. How old was it? How old was that facility? The door was locked. I couldn't see a faint light. I could see a faint light within. I wonder what the light was. Candle maybe? Dying torch. A security camera. There was a security camera in the room. There must have been a way to see what happened. Maybe the VHS tape I found could be useful. If someone was watching me from the other side. Is it possible that someone's watching him? I found another dead body in the sewer works by the wounds all over his face. The body, I figured he'd been stabbed repeatedly. There was a keyring sticking out of the man's pocket. Did I take the keyring? I thought about the knife I had found with some disgust. I carefully pocketed the keys from his pocket. I was almost worried he was going to grab me. Okay, so I had a little phone call there, so I had to deal with that. But continuing on, I was feeling even more sick seeing another dead body. I didn't want to get any more blood on my clothes. Yeah. I have to like try to do stuff like that. Security camera. At least there aren't long loading screens, you know. There was a hint of fresh air here. I must have been near an exit. But I wondered, what did that key I found on the sewer worker do? And what was on the videotape I found? There must have been this must have been the other end of that ventilation shaft. Whoever used it could have gotten past that flooded room with this. Now he mentioned that it's quite a fault. Is that how he fucked up his leg? Usually games like this are on PC. You never really see them on console, which is quite interesting. I made my way up the ladder as best I could on my leg. I really need that gun or that knife before the end. Would I really need that knife or gun before the end? I wondered what was on the VHS tape I found or in that locker room. Or in that locked room. Should I have gone back to check? My head was buzzing with questions and I tried, though as I ascended the ladder, suddenly I was lifted the heavy lid above me and I could smell fresh old pine trees. Okay, so he's outside. Oh, was I supposed to do something with the key and the VHS tape, but it wouldn't let me do anything. I was revived to the ground again. I figured I should keep moving on. Just a fence, just a fence, just a fence. Did you see that? That was some eyes looking at me. A door. I tried the little key I had fished out of that murky puddle in the sewers. It fit. It opened heavily with the rusted door. Okay. The wind was picking up a bit. The night had become strangely chilly. So the game has opened up a lot more than what I thought it would, actually. What's that say? This must have been the entrance to the forest that was mentioned on that map I had seen. Whoever was poking around in those tunnels underneath the man's house had described. Notes on this place, but I couldn't make them out. Here's a sign pointed out various campsites and walking paths within the woods. It mentioned a river and maybe a washroom, but the rest was too far faded to see clearly. So this area has been abandoned for some time. Okay, so you just go through the shrubs. Same with that one. That sounds like the waterfall. Now I know I'm taking my time. I know I walked past this ladder at one point, so I'm going to go back and check the ladder. I feel like I'm doing everything I am, but an old ladder leading up to the ancient water tower. Do I ascend up the ladder? Yes, I popped the latch and brought the ladder down. I feel like I'm doing everything I should, yet somehow I'm missing out on everything. A patch of smeared dirt and grass. There was a beat up old wallet. I thought it was mine. Did I take it? I slid the filthy wallet into my back pocket. I noticed it didn't contain any kind of gun permit. In fact, it didn't contain any cards, ID of any kind. I thought I should recover my credit card and driver's license at least. Okay, so if someone was up here, they could actually see him getting out of the sewer. That's what he's basically saying there. So we found a wallet that is supposedly his, but it's missing all of its credit cards and it's got nothing in it. The wallet's completely empty. So he's like even wondering if that's his wallet. Nothing there. What's this? An old train station was quiet as a tomb. The only sound that could of the increasing wine buffering. It's an old abandoned train station. Would that mean there's train tracks around here somewhere? Nothing. Okay. So this game is scary so far, but I'd thought there'd be like people chasing me, but nothing. His notes mentioned the water tower and even this train yard. What was he doing coming back here? So there's a lot of, obviously you can make a lot of suspicions about how he is that guy and he is the murderer, things like that. An old train was ripped open and hanging from a shard of metal. As well as the broken fence was a dark stained patch of cloth. It looks synthetic, like some kind of outerwear. Inside the train shell I could see a few faint imprints, like wounds. They could have been bullet marks. Was somebody shot there? The ground was well worn, though it could have been really. I couldn't really make anything out. I realized I was touching the gun I had found as I thought. Ah, interesting. Interesting. Trotting along, trotting along. I am sorry, I am eating a McDonald's hot fudge sundae. $4. Really good. The sundae I'm eating costs more than this game. Ticket booth. Okay, an ancient ticket booth was falling apart and covered in dust and grime. Stacks of paper lined the counter, faded remains of old schedules and reports. Among the papers were newer looking sheets covered in scribbles and edgeable notes. Come to think of it, the man in the house had kept similar scribblings hidden on the bookshelf, and he had notes of the water tower outside too. I guess he could have been coming here, but why? What was he using this old station for? I still don't know what the fuck's really going on. I've had a couple jump scares, but I haven't really been horrifically terrified yet, and I haven't died, so this game might be just you don't get to die. Just gonna have another bit of sundae. So now that we've mapped out, the only real places to go are through these shrubs. Let's go through this first one. Let's see if there's anything here. More rocks. What's this? Trampled into the dirt and grass was a plastic card of some kind. I brushed it off and it was surprised to see my credit card. I wasn't sure if it was still usable, but if it's mine, but it was mine. Did I take my credit card back? What would happen if I said no? I pocketed the credit card. Hopefully I could find my driver's license too. Through the fence I could see a dilapidated outer building. I wondered if I could find my way around. What the hell is this shit? There was a fire pit here. It still looked a bit warm and a few embers still burning at the bottom. Two folding camping chairs were on the ground. One was knocked over, but that there were a couple of cans of beer spilled on the ground. Someone was camping here, and recently. A tent. The cheap dome tent slept two people. I shone my flashlight inside and could see some bedrolls, two backpackers and a cooler. I felt like if I kept rooting around the campsite, someone would walk in on me. However, whoever was here left this place in a hurry, but why? Was someone else out in these woods? Did they abandon their campsite? Possibly. This is the one I came through. I'm going to go back. My controller just vibrated there. There was some personal effects shoved back into the rock. Wait, there was a notebook here too. Do I read it? Yes. Inside the cheap dollar store notebook was page after page of names and lists. None of it made much sense. The newest page contains several names. So they're all the names that we tried to look before. Rachel, her name was last on the list and had a mark beside it in blue ink. The name Dupan and Oliver had been crossed out in the same blue ink. Those other two people, were they the ones in that tent? And are they dead? Cheryl, Heather and Rose also had been crossed out, but those marks looked older and more faded. Well, is this the guy like ticking off his kills? Here we go. A dry old picnic table sat lonely among the trees. It had carvings and marks from years of previous campers. As if I tried to read some of those names and the marks, I hardly tumbled the knife I'd found. If I wanted to, I could have carved something into that table, did I? Yes, I did. With a few crude strokes, I etched a simple design into the wood. H, Rachel and H. I felt like a teenager facing the table. Well, R is for Rachel, but who is Hank? Is my name Hank? The path ended in a cold-looking river. I wasn't sure if it was safe to cross. Did I cross it? Did I wade back across to the other side? No. Okay. Two two young women were half dug into a hastily shallow grave between the trees. The younger looking one was still face up, her dead eyes glazing against my flashlight. They deserve better than that. Did I clean up the gravesite? Yes. I tried to cover up a bit more, and I closed the younger woman's eyes. I fashioned a crude marker. I wasn't sure why, but I felt I had to do something. Oh, that's kind of fucked up. I wasn't like freaking out until that. The girls weren't carrying any ID, so I couldn't determine their names. I only hoped that whoever had done this, they had done it quickly. I wondered now if they had a phone or something at least at their campsite. Maybe I can call for help. I've already been to their campsite. Obviously I was supposed to go here first, and then I would have found their campsite, and then I would understand that that tent was for two people, blah blah blah. No, 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 no. Don't go in. I finally found the exit. Once I left, I knew I never wanted to return here. Is that the way out? Is this game over? I'm going to go back and I'm going to go check out this door. Don't go in. The grimy sink had a small patch in it that looked almost clean. So there wasn't much in the way of clean water there, but the sink still did work. So someone had used the sink recently. This is that restroom that was on the list. I might have been able to cross the river with it. Do I take it? Yes. I managed to carry the plank under my arm so it didn't get in the way. So obviously there are things I'm supposed to do differently in different orders, such as I was supposed to find the girl's shallow grave and then retrieve to the campsite in the hopes of finding a phone. I was also supposed to use that plank, but I didn't. Anyway, we're supposed to get out. Oh, no. The forest started to thin out a bit, and though the trees I couldn't make out, parts of the town beyond that, and the first hints of light. The mysteries of that forest were behind me, but I could still feel them on my neck like a warm breath. Those girls I had found, someone had to have taken them from their campsite and murdered them. Was it the same person who had left that odd notebook? I was even more eager to get somewhere safe and find a way to reach Rachel. Oh, so this game isn't over at all. I could have done things a little bit differently, yes. Perhaps next time I'll do a proper playthrough. As I stepped through the gate, I suddenly realized that the auto parts factory where I had worked as a mechanist all those years The plant had closed almost 3 years ago now, but times were better then. I thought I could hear a faint rustling behind me. Maybe it was just the wind? Well, there's the city. We're nearly there. Oh. Is this a high school? Or is this the... No, this has to be the mechanic place. Oh, another dead body. I found the dead body of a security guard just doing his job, no doubt. The face was covered in blood from some kind of head wound. I wondered, was this flashlight his? So it's coming together a lot. I mean, he's not even safe yet. He hasn't made it home. Dug into the ground was a cracked old watch. First my wallet and now this. Did I retrieve my watch? The watch was useless, but I put it on my wrist anyway. So yeah, things are like looking like he actually did it. This is still reminding me a lot of Resident Evil in regards to Resident Evil 7, about how he's at that house and he's just stumbling around, just trying to get the fuck out. One of the lockers hung open. Its contents were tossed around like someone had been looking for something. What's this thing do? There was a large power box with 5 lights on it. Cables burst out of the box, shaking off the 2 other parts of the factory. The metal was starting to wear, and cobwebs had collected in the corners. The box wasn't receiving power. So this place has basically been abandoned for like 3 years. We can go up there. Let's just go up. Every part of this plant smelled old and rotted. I noticed the old bulletin board in the wall. So he's been here before. I mean, he's like recognizing. Bulletin contained yellow clippings of newspaper, cartoons, and notices. There were notes to and from the guys that worked here. One of them was to Norman, who was one of the older guys in the line. Our old break table. A layer of dust and grime made seeing this string more. So apparently the only one who's been in here is this guard. There seems to be a correlation between the beer cans. There's just beer cans everywhere. A power panel. Looks like it was shut off. Do I push the switch? Okay, the locker opened. The open locker was stuffed with dirty work clothes and old boots. There was a photo of a woman taped to the inside, but it was scratched out and the face was unrecognizable. That's kind of fucked up. Same concept again with the water wheels. A power panel. Yep, that will do it. It was tight shut. There was a rusty looking card slot on the side. Okay, so obviously we need a card slot. We need a card, not a card slot. Reminded me a lot of Resident Resident Evil. I wouldn't be surprised if it was inspired by Resident Evil. A lot of games are. This was Norman's locker. The door was dented like someone had punched it. I don't remember him doing that when he worked there. Another control panel. A utility shelf crammed with mismatched tools and items. There was a claw hammer on the shelf. Did I take the claw hammer? Yes, I did. As I took the hammer, I noticed it wasn't as dusty as the rest of the tools on the shelf. The locker was a complete mess. Hidden in the bottom, though, was a magnetic card. Did I take the card? Yes, I did. I think the power's on now. I stuck it with the claw hammer and the old wooden boards came easily apart. After I removed the planks, I left the hammer on the floor. This was my locker there in the factory. It stank of booze. There was a picture of Rachel inside. It looked like it had been torn up, although I had taken that picture home when the factory closed. Okay, so something is really going on with the concept of beer. Perhaps he's an alcoholic and does very bad, horrifically terrifying things when he's, drunk. Now look, more beer cans of empty booze bottle. I wonder if that man in the house had something to do with this. He sure had a lot of alcohol at his place. The wrong place. So yeah, I'm starting to think there's some sort of correlation between him, the alcohol, and just all the people he meets. I don't know what happened to those poor women. That sounds horrible. What's this? Look up more mud. Another smudge of dirt similar to the one found those sewers on the floor. Oh. Okay, what's this thing? A large pile of building materials and debris blocked the way. What's this thing? A rusted old regulator of some kind sat dusty and unused against the wall. Planks, tools, and broken up parts blocked any further passage. Okay, so there wasn't really anything down here. I can't really remember where the room that had the key card had. Obviously the power's back on, we can use the key card. is it. The key I found seemed like it would pass the reader. Did I use the key? Yes, I did. I slid the card through the old reader and turned the handle. Here we go. That's the only thing in this room. One light above this hole. There was some kind of ventilation hatch there. It looked like I could jump to the room below. My leg hurt enough as if I couldn't see another option though. Did I jump? There's probably another option. I have to find some rope or something else. Oh man, my leg, it hurt like hell. This is how I'm thinking he hurt his leg in the first place, doing shit like that. There was a crumpled up letter on the floor. It had been scratched out heavily and it was hard to make out. Did I try to read the letter? Yes. Most of the letter was violently scratched out with what looked to be a ballpoint pen. All I could make out was need to. Just don't drinking need Norman. Who was Norman writing this to? Oh, there seems to be some sort of misalteration. Perhaps the person who had died was Norman. I stepped out of the factory, glad to be rid of the smell of its memories. I couldn't stop thinking about that room with the bottles in it, where his locker was. Was that guard I found outside really drinking up there? What about Norman? And who had rooted around all those lockers? I couldn't tell where I was. I looked around, but I figured I needed to get out of the road. Maybe Norman could help. His store wasn't that far from the turnoff to the factory, if I remember correctly. Okay, so, remember we found that picture of the old store? Obviously there's some sort of connection again. Maybe this is like Resident Evil after all, and he is Rachel. I'm referring to Resident Evil Project Veronica. Project Valencia. I seem to be in the city. The garbage bin was disgusting, a mess of rotten food and slick black bags. I saw a thin greenish container poking out of one of the bags. It was my driver's license. It looked damaged. Did I take it back? Yeah, fuck yeah. I cleaned the card off as best I could. It looked pretty beat up. I was amazed to have found my credit card and now this. I tucked the card into my wallet next to my credit card. Suddenly, it sounded like it was going to start raining again. Maybe it will. Maybe it will. I entered Norman's place. This was the back of the store that he ran. It was oddly quiet except for a faint sound of television. Can we expect a flat screen plasma? No, we cannot. It's going to be a fat one with the aerial actually physically built into the top of it. Oh, that looks like more blood. I'm going to go with the blood one. Fingers crossed. Hey, there's the TV, and I told you. The TV was still flickering. Someone in apparently the channel. In some... Oh, yeah, there's a dead body. Oh no, I couldn't believe what I was seeing. Norman, my co-worker, and one of the few friends I had at this town, lay dead beside his armchair. His face and shirt were covered in blood. It looked like he had been shot trying to get up. His eyes were still wide from shock. Norman, you deserve better than this. Did I close his eyes? Yes. I wasn't sure if wanted to give him peace, or if I just couldn't stand to think of anyone like that much going on. Quickly, I closed Norman's eyes. So he was sitting in his chair watching TV. The poor bastard. I guess this was Norman's kitchen table. He kept it clean though. But there was water rings from 2 cups still there in the wood. Is it possible that this Norman was having an affair with Rachel? He stumbled in and in a blind panic started killing everyone and everything in his path, allegedly bringing out the worst in someone. The kitchen trash bin smelt fresh. It didn't dig through that mess. I didn't dig through that mess, did I? Yes. I found a hairpin among the rotting food and trash and pocketed it. So the hairpin could be used to pick a lock, or I don't really know. Interesting picture. I don't know what that is. Oh, his gun closet. Looks like he's got a fair few there. Inside the cabinet was a small, impressive collection of hunting rifles, shotguns, and even a few items I didn't think were legal here. One of the slots in the rack was empty. The gun I had found seemed to match the others there. If the handgun was Norman's, what the hell was he doing with it? The gun would fit there. Did I place the gun back in the cabinet? I carefully pushed the piece back in place and felt a great burden lifted. A close call. What does that mean? A close call. Norman, what were you doing with all these? I still had the knife. Despite the shock of already finding Norman in the state, seeing this turned my stomach just as much. It was one of Rachel's old full coats. What was it doing here? Was she okay? Something dark stained the sleeve. My stomach only tightened. Perhaps it was gravy. I get a bit messy with gravy. So this is the only place we haven't been yet. I used a hairpin to pick the lock. The hairpin shaped in the hall. The general store was small, but it was clean. It had the usual things: postcards, snacks, magazines, and canned goods. I never went there much. Rachel usually stopped by after work if she needed something. The register was mostly empty, and a fat stack of travel magazines sat beside it. The icebox seemed to have unplugged. The icebox seemed to be unplugged. It must have been off for a while. Most of its contents were half melted. Norman was dead, but I had no idea why. Was he involved in all of this somehow, or was he just another victim? That gun I had found only seemed to complicate matters. It was such a relief to finally be rid of it. Home wasn't far off now. Even though the rain was relentless, I had to keep going. Still limping, I see. There's actually a lot of doors. Chances are a lot of them are locked. I'll go back and I'll try the first one. One would think he would use Norman's phone to go ahead and call the police. The door was locked. The gate was locked. Tight, it wasn't my house. So he's he's nearly home. I guess this is why it's called home. What the fuck? The neighborhood's local post box. A letter was sticking out as if someone hadn't pushed it all the way in. I knew it wasn't right, but did I look at the let? It's frozen. Okay, it's frozen. Oh, the controller's gone dead. Okay, that's why it's not frozen. The controller's gone dead. I'll just put the charger in right now. Okay, guys. So after I put the charger back on, it loaded. Okay, so did you want to look at the letter? Yes, I did. There was no return address, but the envelope seemed to be addressed to Norman. Carefully, I tore it open and looked at the better side to read. Stay away, she's mine. That was it. No signature, no more information. Okay, so I'm starting to think she was having an affair with Norman. And he found out. I had the wrong gate. This was locked. Seems to be very repetitive. I'm getting kind of bored. I was hoping this game would be far more scary. I should have looked it up before I had purchased this game, but then again it was only $3. I had entered our block yard. The rain gave me a terrible sense of foreboding, and it chilled me to my clothes. I was expectant, but also afraid. I held my breath as I approached our back door. I was terrified to step inside. This is the end of the game. I'm pretty sure we're coming close to the very end. Let's just see what happens when I hit enter. My house was painfully quiet. The only sounds was my own breathing, raged and strained. I flicked the light switch, but by the door, the power was off. Of course it was. I wonder if he too will have like bloody 50 sets of stairs. It's pretty crazy. Let's just check this out. What's this? Smart pile of mail on the floor in front of the mail slot. How long had I been away? I hadn't picked Rachel. Why hadn't Rachel picked this up? Most of the contents were bills. There was a credit card bill there. Did I open it? Yes. I ripped the bill open and read it. To my surprise, it had something about cancelling my credit card due to non-payment. What the hell? The front door was locked from the inside. I couldn't go out, though I needed to see Rachel was here. So the mail's been oh, this chair was upside down too. This didn't make any sense. So he had been gone for a lot longer than what he remembered. The door was to the basement. It was locked. Where did I put my damn key? The door was stuck shut. There was an old-fashioned keyhole beneath the handle. We can go up again. We can go through this door. I'm going to go through the door. What's this? I found the last missing piece of my wallet. An old photo of Rachel and I stared back at me. Reminded me of better times. It didn't make me feel terrible. Did I keep it anyway? I replaced the photo in my wallet, feeling like I had got part of my life back. Still, I imagine made me uneasy. Why had I thrown it away? Okay, so this guy actually has a flat screen TV. Stolen identity. I still don't know what's really going on, but I found a lot of things. It was possible that Rachel and this Norman were having an affair. Rachel either left or there was a good chance that he actually killed Rachel. And the house on the hill where he woke up, there's a good chance that was his mansion, or possibly like his grandfather or something like that he inherited from, which is why he moved to the town in the first place. Our television, I had purchased it before I knew I was going to lose my job. I felt pretty guilty about it afterwards, but then it was too late. The alcohol, maybe it turns him into someone else. Going up the stairs. Looks like there's a broken mirror. There is a broken mirror. Once again, his house has ridiculously too many stories. Bookshelf. The books were half mine, half Rachel's. Now that I looked more closely at it, it looked like the man in that house had some of these books as I did. Sorry, it took a while to read that. I just could not for the life of me read it. That is a suitcase on a bed. There was a suitcase on the bed. It was Rachel's. I remember it from the last trip we took to the west. Did I open the suitcase? Yes. I wasn't sure what to make of the suitcase's components. Inside were a few days' worth of clothes, some toiletries, and a train ticket. Where was she planning on going? This wasn't going to get me anywhere. So it's like I've got it on the tip of my tongue what went down. I just need that one piece of irrefutable evidence. Our hallway mirror, it had been smashed, its pieces scattered around the floor. Look, more mud on the ground, I think. This looks like the bathroom. Yes, it is. Okay, our sink, which needed to be replaced, one of the taps anyways, stuck. But I hadn't gone around to fixing it yet. We were lucky enough to get a house with one of these wonderful old claw-footed bathtubs. It seemed impractical at the times, but it was a part of what made that house a home. Here we go. This is the last door. If whatever it is has to be behind here, or at least leads to behind here, because it's the only place I haven't checked yet. There's still that locked door down at the front. Looks like a computer, more like a laptop actually. My laptop had been left here on and only had a tiny bit of power left. The screen was a website about the old water tower. There was a key on the top of the drawer. Do I take it? Yes. I pocketed the key. I'm assuming that's for the basement, and the basement's basically one room. So, yeah. Whatever it is, we're probably going to find I'm afraid, the corpse of Rachel. I unlocked the basement door. Step. I'm actually starting to get a little nervous now. Okay. What have we got here? A bin. Okay, there were old Christmas decorations in the box. Okay, bin bags. The garbage bags were stuffed with old paint cans and supplies. There was a dirty old key in there. Did I take the key? Yes. It took a small key and tried to remember what it unlocked. Probably the front door. What's in here? There was old clothes in here. Tools and other things were obviously hadn't been thrown out yet. I had to put up this divider wall last summer so we could create a separate room in the basement. I hadn't finished it yet, so the door was stuck and the drywall was poorly installed. It might have been able to break through if I had something heavy enough. I couldn't even remember our last Christmas. Oh, you wanna know why? Because he was fucking drunk. So we got that key. I think it's to the front door. Now, if you recall, we had that one door that was still locked, and it had the it's a good chance that he locked Rachel in this tiny room. I'm starting to hate this guy now. Oh, there he is. The grimy key I had found in the basement unlocked the door. Hopefully we'll have something heavy we need to break down that door. It looked like the room had been tossed around. The furniture was a mess. Did someone break it in here? What's this? There was an old crowbar on the wall. I lifted the heavy crowbar. I appreciated its weight. Okay, so we're going back to the basement now. Okay, so this is probably the end of the game. Whatever is down in the basement, which I'm guessing is Rachel's dead body. I don't want it to be Rachel. I want this game to have a happy ending, but I don't think it's going to. We've seen a lot of bad things now, so let's just, fingers crossed, because this shit's going to happen now. Did I break through the wall with the crowbar? Yeah. With a heave and a swing of the crowbar at the wall, I smashed a hole in the large enough to step through. Okay. As I stepped through the broken wall, my breath caught my throat. This was it. Was Rachel down there? Was she okay? What the fuck? Don't look. Boxes. It's like a plant. More of the cages. Oh, there's blood. Don't look. Oh no. A filthy looking pile of rags had been dumped in the corner. The stench of them was awful. They made my eyes water. I was terrified to even touch the pile to see what lay beneath, but I knew I had to. I'd come this far. Oh man, it's gonna be Rachel. Oh, it's gonna be Rachel. After all this searching, after all I had seen, when I looked within the rags, did I finally find my Rachel? Fuck. Oh no, my hands trembled as I pulled back from the layers of cloth. There at the center, under all that dirt and mess, was my beloved, my Rachel. Her arms were bruised all over and slashed repeatedly. Her clothes were ripped and torn, and even though all that stench stickering blood, it was obvious she had been stabbed to death. The knife I had carried all this way suddenly seemed like a prison. What had happened to Rachel? Who did this to you? As I thought about all I had seen and wondered if any of it could help me figure out who had done this, and when I couldn't stay there any longer, I stepped away on my shaky legs and made my way back upstairs. Regrettably exhausted from the journey, I could no longer resist the urge to close my eyes. Okay, so the game isn't over. Oh, but he found Rachel. Oh no, that's kind of fucked up. I was really hoping she was alive and she was fine, and I still can't believe this game is going on. Maybe I wouldn't use some of Rachel's travel books and find some place to go. Let's just go out the front door, I guess. Oh no, there was the kitchen door, if I recall. What's this? There was a letter that had been taken. It was the letter I had taken from the post box. Who had it out for Norm? Who sent him that letter? It must have been someone from the neighborhood, or at least somebody wanted to look that way. I wasn't sure what to think. Did he do the murderer? Or did he murder Rachel? Yes. Maybe whoever sent that letter wanted him to stop, or do the deed himself. But I was sure it was Norman who killed Rachel in the end. You bastard, Norman, I trusted you. We both did. What was going through your head? Why did you possibly do that? Despite his betrayal, Norman got what he deserved, but it wasn't me who killed him. Somebody else obviously had gotten to him already. So who sent that threatening letter? Oh, that's the tape. That's the TV. We're gonna go watch this tape now. I still had no idea what was on the tape. I found in the garbage. If only I had found a way to watch it. From now on, I have no one to get angry with me for stupid things like buying this TV. He's got no way to watch it. Were we supposed to watch it at Norm's house? Is there like an inventory thing here? If I gave up now, I would remember what I'd seen so far around home. Do I quit? No. Okay, so this is the room that we couldn't go in. My old office safe sat on the floor. I used to keep tax records and other important documents in. I used a digital passcode lock, but I didn't have the code. Maybe I had left it somewhere? I leafed through the notebook I had taken from the forest. In it were the names that had been written down. So this is like just trying to figure out what the hell is going on. Let's go back down in the basement. Like I closed the basement. What's this? The mail still sat there heaping on the floor. How long had Rachel been laying down in the basement? I was perfectly clear. So it's very much possible that there's alternate endings based on the discoveries you find, but there's probably one real main truth, and that is what actually happened. Now I'm starting to think it was still me. I'm the one who killed Rachel. I mean, the evidence just doesn't make sense. There was still an old photograph of that older man and his wife I assumed I found at that house. I recalled those faded remains that had found deep underneath the house. What had he done there? Well, what did I think? Was that old man involved with this whole mess somehow? Yes, definitely. Those tunnels and the old tools in his house and the remains of his wife. He wasn't innocent, that's for sure. So I've scoured the evidence all over my house, and I just have to examine all of them and come to some sort of conclusion, I'm thinking. Okay. It was my wallet with its contents intact. Either I dropped that stuff or someone else did. Maybe I was sleepwalking again, or maybe somebody stole it from me. Norman's store. The forest, the water tower, was I at those places before? No, there was no way that I was out there. I woke up in that house, remember? I wasn't off in the damn forest. The reflection of that grimy glass was only a shadow of whisper. Nothing there, and let's just check this thing out. It was a keycard I found at the factory. One of those allowed me to slip through the door. It seemed that it was probably Norman's, but if it was true, what was it doing back at the plant? Did I think Norman was going back to the factory? Yes. It must have been him. He'd been using that old locker room. So I think Norman and Rachel were having an affair. He was all pissed off. The laptop was dead, but I found some notes and loose papers in the drawer where I had found the key. There was a yellow sticky note with the... Okay. Did I take it? Yes. So we got something for the safe. So what's in the safe? That's basically the only fucking door left. Now I just got to remember which one it is. Here it is. So this is literally the only thing I can do at the moment. If whatever's in here isn't some sort of conclusion or doesn't lead me to somewhere else, I am screwed. The code I found should let me access the safe. Did I try to open the safe? The code worked. I pulled the safe, a small safe door, and peeped inside. There was a photo in there of Rachel and I when we first moved into town. In it, we were smiling outside the front of the door, which looked like a real mess. We looked happy though. Odd. I couldn't remember who took that photo. Inside the safe was also an envelope. Okay. In front of it read, "Do not open until I tell you." I guess this was a good time as any to see what was inside. Did I open the envelope? And what was inside? Yes. I tore open the envelope and removed the yellow lining paper inside. On it was a letter written in the hand that looked familiar. The letter read, "I know this whole event was probably been pretty difficult. You can't imagine how hard it's been for me too. Well, maybe you can. That isn't meant to be an excuse, but well, I hope you can better understand why I've done what I've done. Moving to this town seems like such a good dream and quiet place to get established, to live our lives and to be together. But you know as well as I do that things quickly changed. Your drinking, there it is, your drinking was one thing, but you grew more distant as you retreated into that world of yours. Oh dear. Well, it was clear you didn't need me as much. In fact, maybe you never needed me at all. But it took all this to make you realize. In the end, though, you may never forgive me for this. You may never forgive yourself, but this is probably for the best. You'll be healthier for this. I'm just sorry it had to happen this way, Rachel. Secret documents. Okay, so I was right about the concept that he was drinking. Rachel was seeing that other dude. The man at the house, was he responsible when I woke up? I had found him dead already. Pretty sure we're just supposed to go maybe back down to the basement. So he drinks and he goes into this world, and he's the one who probably killed everyone in. Oh, it seemed like I had all there was. Maybe I thought I was ready to go back into the basement. Yes. Okay, so the conclusion right now for me is that I'm the one who did it. I killed Rachel. I killed everyone. I don't know about the old man and that woman in the old house mansion yet. I don't know what that has to do with it. Maybe there wouldn't be anything for me to find, but I had to take one last look. So I'm thinking that that place had been abandoned for some time and that he has murdered these people and basically just squatted in their house. Okay. I needed to put an end to this situation one way or another. If I was guilty, I could take this to a warm, safe place and do something about it. Do I pick up the knife? If I was guilty, I could take this to a warm, safe place and do something about it. Do I pick up the knife? No. No, there were other means of dealing with this. Was he talking about killing himself? Oh, I think he's going to have to put it into himself. Okay. Do I pick up the knife? Yes. I took the knife and kept it firmly in my hand. I stared down at the floor where I had placed the knife. Is this what I really came down to do? I don't know what to do. There's obviously nothing to do left in the basement. I knew I needed to escape that nightmare, but what I do about the knife I still carried. I wondered if it would really be over. So, did I leave that house forever? Yes. Living in this town hadn't been easy. The plant I had helped in some way to stay grounded. It kept me in line, gave me something to do, and helped me get on my way in the past. When the factory closed, everything changed. I guess that was when I had started sleepwalking, disappearing for hours at a time. And I had MRLS and piles of doctor's reports, but nothing seemed to help. Not even drinking. MRLS. What the hell's that? I'm going to look that up for a second. Just hold on. It's probably like something I would know. It's like, oh, I know what that is. So Google. Okay. MRLS. It's the only thing that's really coming up is maximum residue limits. And multiple rocket launcher. Typical error. According to Wikipedia, it is a typical error referring to multiple stage rocket launchers. Okay, yeah, it's all military. MRL, is that MRI? Oh shit, it's not MRLs, like I thought it was some disease. It's MRIs and piles of doctor's reports. But I swear I had tried to give up. I know it. The sleepwalking never really went away though. But I know Rachel had tried. I know she had tried to be there for me even when everything else was falling apart. This night was unearthed terrible truth about, but I know it was a final act of long-standing horror I'd been living. Walking up to that house tonight was the final cruelly. I wish I had remembered, unconscious in that room forever. It was obvious to me that the man I had found in that house had something to do with this. Could he have killed Rachel? It started to seem that there were too many things that I had seen otherwise. Now that I thought of it, those sewers were a terrible mystery. What happened there? I was lucky in the way to even find the way out of there. But I never did find out what happened on that tape. that I now kept. What might have shown me? With Rachel gone, the implements of what had happened that night were starting to grow at me. Someone had clearly taken my wallet. It wasn't me in those woods or at Norman's. But who could have so? And why drop my things all over the place? Was someone trying to incriminate me? Even more troubling were those poor girls I found in the woods, in those terrible woods, half hidden in a shallow grave. Their secret death seemed to be more like ultimate defying. If I hadn't found them, anyone would have done so? Would they have even been missed? I verily recall the desk I had seen in those tunnels, the names etched there. Someone had killed those girls. Was it that man? Like, this keeps going on and on. It was clear at last that Norman had been going back to the old plant. Maybe he was one who had boarded up that locker room, who had been drinking up there in that night's secret hiding place. So, had he killed that guard then? He must have, maybe. He was found out, or the guard had caught him on patrol. Damn it, Norman, why? After that factory, I thought that I might find some solace if I could just go to Norman's store, but all I had found were more horrors and more questions. Now that I really consider it, that's where I should have seen it coming. Norman, you rotten son of a bitch, you got what you deserved in the end. I realize that now. Although we were all friends, what had happened? What did she do to you? Or was it she didn't do? I didn't know what happened to him exactly. Maybe he was murdered, maybe he took his own life, but it was difficult, if not impossible, to feel any grief. When I had marched through the rain towards home, I desperately clung to the hope that this would end. And now I guess in a way it did. But how could I have known how hopeless it all was? I had started to feel as if disorientated as I sleepwalked to think of it now. Oh, this just keeps going on. Coming through the back door and the kitchen should have tipped me off that something was horribly wrong. There was no sound of television, radio, or even air was still. But seeing Rachel there lying ruined and discarded in the basement, that was a horror I could never have imagined. That other man I had found was involved in this. Somehow I know it. But it was Norman, that treacherous son of a bitch, who had done the deed. Whatever was going on, he was the one who took Rachel away from me. I hated him for it more than I could possibly express. But that offended no strength of solace. Rachel was gone now, and I guess forever. As I swung open the door, I stepped out into the air and caught the scent of wet grass and fog. There's some really scary sounds going on now. Rachel, my beautiful wife. Just the thought of her again, cold and, it shook me from my head to toe. What could I do now? Who could I turn to? It would only be a matter of time before the police got involved, before the neighbours knew. The front lawn was soft and giving well, that's the ice cream truck, was giving beneath my feet, and I couldn't shake the urge that I shouldn't stand there, but rather I should run. Okay, I still have no fucking clue what was going on. The game didn't make sense. There was so much going on and they didn't conclude it. I mean, if someone could write in the comments or message me on Facebook, you know, what the hell is really going on? Because I don't know. The home is dedicated to my wife, Nancy. Watch your back. That's pretty funny. I mean, this game was like $3, but still, I mean, it didn't make fucking sense. Oh, that sucked. They should have like rounded up. Who killed those poor girls in the who were sleeping in that tent, and why? Why was he in the house? Obviously, he sleepwalks in one there. Who was that other man? And did Norman really kill Rachel? I don't think so. I think it was all him, the main guy. I think it was all him, and he went into these other worlds, went drinking, and he did one thing bad, and then he continued to do more bad things. It's just so weird. I don't fucking get it. I just wish they concluded it all into one decent story, and it seemed very repetitive. Very just repetitive. I wouldn't say that it's not worth getting this game, but there's absolutely no rush to go out and get it. But it is $3, and it's an okay game, I guess. You can go out and just, you know, play it when you're bored, and then it's no real big deal, at least at this price anyway. But I guess I had fun. There were a lot of boring bits, but there were also a few good parts that really freaked me out. I would have loved to see, or at least heard, of more sound effects. I wouldn't say better graphics, because obviously they stuck to the pixelated thing, and that worked out pretty good. But I would like to see a more in-depth storyline, and maybe one that wasn't so fucking stupid. But other than that, the creator of this was... this is a relatively small company, and they produced a relatively decent game. So, good for them. I give it a solid... I don't even have a rating system. But, yeah, go get this game if you want. You've obviously seen me play it. Yeah, go buy it. $3. Who gives a shit? Alright, YouTube, I'm Steamtown Gamer, and I will catch you later.